Joining us in another episode of the Three Things I Learned podcast. I'm your host, Chris Michaels. Today, we're going to be talking about whether or not I could have ever made it as an actor in Hollywood. Actually, no, we're not. We're going to be talking about some of the dirty secrets that my friend Sachin Bhatt has to share about his life of being a professional actor. Stick around. You're not going to want to miss this. Being an actor may be something that a lot of you out there have wanted to pursue. Maybe you're a current student. Maybe you're somebody like my daughter who's given it their first try. She's in drama camp this summer. But all things said, maybe you're just somebody who likes sitting back and watching movies, but you don't know how it all comes together. What's the type of dedication, the motivation that'll make somebody want to go from role to role and start as a starving artist to becoming a successful actor or actress in their craft? And what's really the hard work that goes into the mastery to continue to get gig after gig. My guest today is a friend of mine from high school. I gotta first and foremost admit this, that when he was in high school up until college, I had a bit of a man crush on him because he's somebody who had the passion to go and do this for good. I started school as a musical theater vocal performance major and ended up giving it up, but Sachin Bhatt, thank you for joining us on today's show. Thank you for being a part of this. I'm interested in hearing a little bit more of what really carried you through it and how you went from just being this awesome vocalist in high school to, where you are today. I think actually what made me want you to be on the show. I was watching TV one afternoon, randomly put on How I Met Your Mother, and there you are doing a musical montage with one of the on-screen characters. I think it was the invisibility about the ring episode. As yes. Soon as Karen got the ring, she became invisible. But I saw you and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's such an I need to send him a screenshot or whatever I could. So thank you for taking the time first and foremost. Tell me, has this been a roller coaster for the past 15 years for you?
First, I want to say thanks for having me. And yeah, absolutely. It's been a roller coaster. So many ups and downs. You just kind of get used to it eventually. It only took like 15 years to get used to it.
Just only 15. Only 15.
Yeah.
Well, tell me, you went from, for those who don't know, we were in St. Louis, Missouri. And you were probably one of the three top vocalists. I think you did have one of the solos in our Masterworks, if I remember correctly. I think you might have in our
I didn't actually. I didn't have solo.
Well, then you should have.
Sure didn't.
Should have taken David
I had
Logan's.
A lot of stage fright then. A lot of stage fright singing that.
So, well, how did you go from being somebody with a lot of stage fright to joining the Indiana University Conservatory and studying vocal performance?
Well, I mean, I shouldn't say everyone, but a lot of people in our high school were studying with this woman, Sheila Dugan, and she was a great vocal teacher. And so I went to her and I asked her, oh, should I go into musical theater or opera? And she was like, you should do opera, definitely not musical theater. So I just continued on that path, and Indiana was one of the top three schools at the time, I think number one for opera. And so I just auditioned and luckily got in.
And did you stick with opera, or did you end up, going more with the stage performance?
Yeah, I did not stick with opera at all. I mean, I took vocal lessons, and that's all we studied. And at the end of the 4 years, I did a recital, and there was a lot of classical music in it. But throughout the 4 years, all I did was musical theater.
So, were you more?
Acapella group. Yeah.
Were you more drawn to the performance aspect of embodying a character? Were you more drawn to the actual kind of vocalization? Like what was the motivation for you, or
I
what
actually think my voice was more suited for musical theater than opera. It wasn't as big and full as some of the other people there, and also just the stories that musical theater had was more interesting to me than opera. Opera is amazing and it's so beautiful. And now I don't even know where it's gone. I actually haven't kept up, sadly, with it. But at the time of what I saw at the school, it was everything was more conservative, and I wanted to do more things that were risky, and musical theater brought that out.
Well, if you're going for risk, there's not much risk in Verdi and a lot of the classical operas that are out there.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
exactly.
so you went from studying at one of the top schools in the country to, if I remember correctly, you landed some pretty nice roles in touring musicals, and am I
Yeah,
right
it
in
was actually
timing?
a pretty good start. I moved to New York after Indiana, and I auditioned for musical theater. And the first 6 months were rough, but then I booked Chino and West Side Story, which traveled around Asia and Europe, and that was still to this day the best musical theater I've done. Like it was with Joey McNeely, who's a Broadway director, and he actually worked with some of the original company of West Side Story, Jerome Robbins. So it was amazing. And then during a break, I ended up booking the lead on a national U.S. tour of Bombay Dreams, booking the lead role. So I ended up leaving West Side Story for that. So that was the start and kind of the end of my musical theater journey in New York.
Well, so what was the difference of being on tour versus being, in a house actor where you're doing 4 or 5 shows a night in one theater versus being on tour?
No, it's still. I mean, I was on tour for both. I just left doing an international tour to doing
Okay.
more of a U.S. tour.
Okay.
And it was exhausting. We were in each city about 2 weeks, sometimes three, and really you're only doing 3 hours a night.
Right.
You're doing one show, and then on the weekends you have two. But the entire day, for me, it was recovering and getting energy for those 3 hours.
And how much preparation goes in between? I mean, are you still probably locked in your performance before you go on tour, but is there still, maybe there's replacement actors that come in? Are there still rehearsals or things that go in for if
Yeah,
somebody comes in
sometimes
halfway
like
through a tour?
if one of the lead actors are sick, then you have a put-in rehearsal with the understudy, or like we did end up adding a cast member like halfway through, so we had a couple rehearsals, but it's not too bad. Really, it's just you stick to your schedule. You travel every day off on the Monday, and then you enter a new city and just jump into it.
Very cool.
It was stressful though. I singing 8 times a week and doing like 11 songs per show got to me,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was. I ended
What?
up uh, leaving musical theater for a while after those two tours.
Well, I was going to ask because I get to see you now on television, and the show I saw was actually a rerun, so or at least in syndication. So
Mm-hmm.
welcome for the residuals on that.
Thank you.
Um, but was that really your transition to from stage to screen, or was there more involved in there as well?
Well, when I finished that tour, I was really depleted, and I ended up auditioning for this film that was shooting in Los Angeles, and I booked it. I flew here for the callback, and then on my flight back, I found out that I got it. And so I ended up coming to LA for 2 to 3 months to shoot this film. It actually never got released. It made some festivals, but unfortunately, one of our producers died who owns the film. So being here though in LA for those 2 months, I realized, oh, I like on camera acting a lot, and I don't have to worry about my voice. And that at the time was amazing. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna move to LA. This is the direction I'm going for a while.
so come to LA, and then um, you know, is the adage true about the starving actor? Coming over with nothing, working at Cheesecake Factory to ends meet, trying to find gig after gig.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't serve here. I worked at Gymboree playing music sometimes, and I taught music classes to like 2-year-olds. What else did I do? I don't even know how I survived the first 3, 4 years, really. I have no idea. I did catering in New York, stuff like that, but I don't know what I did in LA. But yeah, it's a struggle, definitely,
Yeah.
because you have to keep your day free for auditions, and you don't know when they're going to come. You get them the day before. Sometimes you get them the day of, and then you're trying to make money and work.
And are you, so let's talk about that's one element we haven't talked about. It was actually getting the job. So you mentioned in for the tours you had auditions for this, but is the audition process different when you come from stage to screen? And then how do you hear about what's getting booked? Are you working with an agent? Are you working with a booker? Are you signed up with various houses? Like
Right.
what's your process today?
Yeah, I have an agent for basically every genre. I have an agent for commercials, a different agent for TV and film, an agent for voiceover, an agent for print, and then I have a manager who kind of like oversees everything. And so when you're auditioning for musical theater, you go to initial call. If you're going in for a lead and you have an agent, then you're going in with a script and you're going in to sing. And
Mhm.
if you do well, if you have a callback, you go back in, maybe do the same scenes, maybe they give you more. You have a dance call. You could be there from 9 a.m. till about 5 p.m. all day, just going back in, reading with different people, chemistry reads, different females. Uh, it's a long process. Where TV, you have a specific appointment time, just like in theater, but you go in by yourself, you do your read, they may give you notes, you may do it again, and then on another day you come back in and do it again. But it's not an all day process.
Right, right. And for each of those, now I've seen you in TV for How I Met Your Mother. I've also seen you behind Chris Pratt in a national Super Bowl ad for Mick Ultra.
Yeah.
Where else have we seen you on screen, both either big screen or small screen?
Um, I have 5 commercials running right now. So I'm dancing in a hotels.com in some purple spandex, stomping grapes. So that one's playing a lot. The beer commercial, Michelob Ultra, is running behind Chris Pratt. Not a horrible person to run behind. Uh, what else? I have a bank commercial. Um, I'm in a commercial with Joe McHale for Enterprise and a Volkswagen. And then I just did an episode in the past year on Superior Donuts on CBS.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a film that just released on Netflix, Eruption LA,
Okay.
and a couple other films coming out.
Yeah.
So
And so you've done a lot of small screen work, and now you're actually not only getting into the film production, larger films, but you've also
yes,
gotten into writing them and starring in them with your most recent, and actually now won a couple of awards from that I
yeah.
understand for your recent production of Monogamish. Tell us a bit about it.
Monogamish. I wrote that because at the time, career-wise, I wasn't really happy with what I was going out for, and I guess what I was booking, and I really wanted to create something that championed for diversity, having 2 Indian leads, and also showing them in a sexual as sexual creatures. Oftentimes, it's changed a lot over the years, but I would be only going out for like the IT guy or a doctor or something stereotypical, and
Right.
I wanted to create something that showed 2 people who happened to be Indian, but it didn't matter. It didn't
And
matter their ethnicity.
do you find yourself either by the roles that are presented to you from agents, do you find yourself getting more typecasted for a lot of the those traditional what we would assume to be Indian roles, like you mentioned, the doctor or the IT professional?
Yeah, I think it's less and less over the years now. Excuse me. A lot of the things I'm going in for are not Indian specific at all. Typically, I don't go out for Indian that much anymore. It's usually open ethnicity. So I'm going out for Joe and Mike and whatever the hell their names are.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely, still, you are definitely typecast into a little box, and that's why I'm creating my own work to break out of that.
So, oh, hold on. my computer froze up on me. There I am. There you are, actually. So I'm curious, like, how has being in this business helped evolve how you see the craft? You talked about wanting to do things that where you weren't typecasted, or doing things where you had a little bit more control. But has there been an evolution in you from being a participant or somebody just on stage to um, driving you towards more of that creation element, or ownership, or taking more personal attachment to the craft? Is that a natural growth?
Yeah, I think, well, coming from a conservative family, I think I had a lot of walls up. And as an actor, it's not very helpful to, limit yourself. And in the past, like 5 years, as I've been working more, I've also been enjoying life more. And the monogamish is kind of part of my life. And accepting parts of me has helped further my career as well, because I'm more confident, I'm more open, and yeah, I think I've changed a lot over the years.
And is that now
Did I answer
reflected
your
in?
question? I don't even
Well,
know.
yes, yes, no, and I'd ask, or I'd follow on. Is that reflected in kind of the decisions you're making now, and in how you're taking on what you're taking on, what you're creating, why you're creating what you're creating? Like, is that, as an actor, is that evolution reflected in the work choice?
Sorry, what is that?
I was saying
I missed that last part.
it is that evolution reflected in your work choices, like what you're doing and why you're doing and how you're doing
Yeah, I definitely want to make a statement. And I have certain platforms that I want to get on, and creating my own work, and pushing boundaries is something that is important to me, and is part of this process.
So pushing those boundaries, is that difficult, given the at many times you're at somebody else's beck and call is a wrong word, but at the mercy of a director or a producer or somebody else. How hard is it for you to insert your will's not the right word, but
Do you
your
mean in my
vision,
own
or
work, or
yeah,
when
in
I'm on
your own work?
set? Well,
Either.
it's my own work, I'm the one in charge,
Right.
so I'm hiring the director, and I've been lucky to work with a friend who's on the same page as me, and
Right.
to collaborate. But yeah, we're working together, and we have the same vision before we start. So it's an amazing process. The lead girl, Nishimunchi, who's in Monogamish, she's booked many series regular roles, leads, and CBS pilots. And actually, we're meeting later today because she just enjoyed working with us so much. So we're working on something together,
Awesome.
creating something together. Yeah.
It's that common for somebody to find like that chemistry and say, we want to do more together.
It is. I mean, think about like Judd Apatow and like Adam Sandler, that whole crew. I mean, that's what they did. They worked with their friends and they kept doing it, and that's what we're doing as well.
End up creating your own troupe, almost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, awesome. So I don't want to keep too much more of your time. We've gone about 18, 19 minutes now just talking about you and your growth. I would love to talk about, get into maybe those three things that you've learned over the past 15 years of being an actor.
Yeah.
So
What
let's
was that
jump to your
one?
first
You
one. You sent me the list. So,
Oh, wait. Did I write them down? Okay. The first one is get comfortable. Oh, there it is. Get comfortable with projection. Yes. Because you're going to go out a bunch and you're not going to get anything. Most of the time, you're not going to get the role. So just get comfortable with that.
Is
It's a
it
very
more?
humbling and humbling career.
It's more striking out than actually even getting a base hit at times.
Yes. Yes. they say every no is you're closer to a yes. So just know that you're going to get a lot of no's. It's such a subjective industry, right? Like,
Right.
there was a casting director who told me once, okay, don't smile big because the producers of the show don't like to see gums on like above the teeth. And mine,
Okay.
sometimes you see when I smile, and they don't like that. They won't ever cast someone who you can see their gums.
See, that's one place where I could actually
Like,
win
what?
because you can't see my teeth at all when I smile. So
You would have booked the role. You should have gone out
awesome,
for it.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, I don't have the
It's
agent,
like
so I wouldn't know.
you can't worry about it. Just do your best, have fun in the room, and then leave it because it's so subjective.
Well, I guess that subjectivity is why you started taking things in your own hands, and why I think your second point is so important, right?
Yes, to create your own work. It's true though, and especially as a minority, we can't expect people to tell our story when they don't know it. So it's our job to create more work for ourselves, and it'll help actually, other young, adults who want to get into this industry and to see, familiar faces on the screen and show that they can do this as well. So it's our responsibility.
And I think the other thing is just gets you more familiar with or comfortable whether you're creating and shifting roles, right? Going from an actor to a writer, or a writer to a director, or production. Like, you're learning more of the business.
I learned so much about what I was doing wrong auditioning wise when I wrote Monogamish, because there was all these little beats in between the lines that I knew as the writer, and yet when I was auditioning for someone else's script, I don't know if I was always seeing those. So it definitely helped. It definitely helped me with acting, writing.
Right. And does it help as well in terms of now becoming a producer and having that 5,000 or 10,000 foot view of where your vision is in production, and why you brought on what director or cast what other cast members?
Yeah, it's just more confidence in myself and in the stories I want to tell. And yeah, I'm excited to create more. Yeah.
Well, your third one, I think, was I was gonna say your third one that you have here, I think was it Helen Mirren quote, or somebody had
Actually
said
it
this?
wasn't, but I was just watching Masterclass with Helen Mirren, and she said the same thing, and so I just thought that was funny. Yeah, don't put your hands in your pockets ever. It's a bad acting choice. It's lazy. So much emotion comes from the body, not even so much the face. And you're like limiting yourself by locking your hands in your pocket. Yeah, maybe you look casual, but you're kind of acting casual instead of being casual.
Right.
It's just a bad choice to do it.
Well, it's a bad choice on screen. It's a bad choice in business. I mean, for us, you never want to be sitting there. Otherwise, you non-verbally you look disconnected, or at least that you're not receptive to criticism, or you're not engaged in the conversation of what you're having with the person that you're having.
Absolutely.
So. Well, let's see. Never put your hands in your pocket. Create your own work and get comfortable with rejection. I think rejection's one, given the number of girlfriends I had in college, that one's one I got down. But I know I'm going to be working on the next two. But thank you so much, Sachin, for taking the time out to talk with us, to give us your thoughts and input. Anybody that is watching this at home, that you're sitting back, and if you have any questions, feel free to comment on here. I'll be sure to tag Sachin in the post, and as well as provide a link to his recent works and anything that I can find just to embarrass him, and share maybe some pictures of him in high school with his eyebrow pierced.
Oh yeah, do that for sure. Do that. I used to wear a visor upside down backwards. I don't know why it didn't help block the sun.
No, it didn't help block the sun, but you were the coolest kid in the choir room. Uh, maybe.
Definitely wasn't, but okay.
Well, anyway, Sachin, thank you so much for taking the time. If you sitting at home like this, put a hashtag Actors Life as you're watching this, so that we know you liked it. We can share it. If there's somebody that you think that might be inspired by, learning a little bit more about the business, or they're looking to become an actor or an actress, and knows that it's easy, to do it when you get used to rejection, and you get used to making your own work, and you know how to read between the lines on some of those scripts and find those pauses and breaks. But share this with them. Let them enjoy it and be motivated by it. So again, I thank Sachin for taking the time. This has been a wonderful 6th episode of the 3 Things I Learned podcast. We will talk to you all later.